Hello and welcome. Here is Spring, and you are listening and watching Connections Forum, which is a forum for relationships, expression, and healing. And we are in episode number 59, and today's topic is Spring, clean your mind. We are talking about 3 important practices you can do to meet spring with joy in your step. And this is with our special guest. Imagine who is our special guest. This is Margherita. So we are in a home plate today without somebody coming from out, but we have spring, at least here in Italy. Margherita, how is it with you?
Oh, we have -8 degrees C, and it heated up rapidly this morning from being 10 in the beginning.
Oh, the spring is a little slow in your part. In mine is really lovely. You see the daffodils and the anemones. Okay, let's come back to, we have to present Connections Forum. This is a show, our show. We are doing that for a year now, in which we are offering conversations and interviews regarding the most important areas of human life, such as relationships, personal expression, and self-development, and also cultural development, and the healing of all this. And the purpose of our show is to give you inspiration and also to teach you new skills with which to handle the issues you are encountering in your daily life. And before I introduce Margherita, I will introduce myself. I'm Heidi, and as you see, I'm in a spring mood today. I'm living in Italy. I am a voice coach. I was a voice coach mainly, and now I'm a transformational relationship coach. And first of all, I'm a hangout host here with Margherita, and also in the Wisdom Factory, which is going on Wednesday. What else can I say? Yeah, I have a big house here in Italy, a retreat center and a guest house, and we hold retreats and courses about growing up and waking up and relationship issues and so on. And you're so welcome to stop by and come and see us and have a course with us or just a chat. I think it's enough about me. You see, the lovely smell is getting me in high mood. I want to introduce Margherita. She is an intuitive healer who has worked with mind training for over 18 years. Mind training, she says, is helpful for improving the quality of life and overcoming challenging events, traumas, and relationship chaos. I think you are really right, Margherita. And Margherita, she helps professional women overcome stress and overwhelm so they can recover their joy for life and see their career and their businesses flourish. And I think, Margherita, you will tell us how to do that today. It's about spring and cleaning your mind. So you see, I'm cleaning my mind. I'm completely in it. I give over to you.
Okay, so that was a fantastic introduction, because what you showed there is the enthusiasm in your energy. And we need energy in all of the levels of ourselves to actually be healthy, happy, and live fulfilling lives. And when we practice doing this, like a daily practice, the daily habit, then we can call it in, this state of feeling, at a moment's notice. And so then you don't dip down in some kind of valleys, emotional valleys of depression and despair and stuff like that, if you have a practice that is your daily practice to do. So later on, I'm going to show you 3 practices on 3 levels that you can do very easily.
What is a practice, Margherita? What do you understand with practice? I mean, for me, practice was singing every day, and all this stuff, you know. This was my practice, but I don't think you mean that.
Well, that could be a practice too, right? It's like, let's say you have a practice of drinking your coffee every morning. Well, let's say if you have a coffee practice, then you prepare your coffee, you do that very, very consciously, and then when you drink the coffee, let's say, you feel it, you appreciate it, and it's a moment in time, like a couple of minutes, where you center yourself, coming into yourself, and discover, yeah, here's my center. And then from that point, you can go on your day. Now, coffee is probably not the most healthy thing to do.
That reminds me, we have Candy, Javier Sakai, and she's in Tokyo, and I think she can tell us a little bit about the Japanese tea ceremony. This is for sure a practice, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, this is similar. What I'm talking about practices is to come into a very life-sustaining habit that you could do at a moment's notice when a trauma or an event or something happens. Then you have a base upon which your being can rest, and immediately you snap back. So, for example, in some spiritual traditions, you're talking about meditations, right? Or actual ritual practices. This is not what I mean here, but it's a halfway between the coffee ritual and formal, let's say, traditional spiritual practice. It's something that we can do as a habit to actually lift us up if we have difficulties in our life. Does that explain it a little?
Yeah, for sure. So what are your practices? Apart from the coffee, I mean.
Well, for example, I decided last year, because it was so cold and so dark here, that I'm going to go do a sunrise practice. So I went up every morning just before sunrise and watched the sunrise. And I did some meditations. And this actually is very helpful because it really instilled a lot of motivation and energy within my body when I did that. And also I get out of bed. All through my life as a teenager, I slept until noon, right? So going up in the morning was really not so easy for me all through my life.
This is nice sunrise practice. In Canada, when does the sun rise in winter?
It's like 7-ish. In the summer, it's like more towards 6 or 5 o'clock, and in Sweden, of course, it's 3 o'clock in the summer.
This would be a little bit difficult. You would never sleep if you did the sunrise practice in Sweden in summer. In winter, yes. In winter, you could sleep all the time.
Yeah, it's like at 10 o'clock or something in midwinter. Yeah.
So you wanted to present some practices for people. First, can you explain what they are for? You say clear your mind. Why do we need to clear our mind? And, why it is good? And how can we do that?
So, when we live our life, we are distracted like a number of times. So when you're going to do a task, let's say you want to accomplish something, and then the phone is ringing, there's another email, somebody's at the door, and then we have our desk, right? We get distracted by all of these millions of things that's going on in our life, and then you're busy, and to actually contain that focus, it's lost. It's like, okay, you feel that you've done a lot of things, but you really didn't accomplish anything. So when the winter is there, it sort of brings our energy down a little bit in the winter because there's less light, especially up in the northern part of the world. And sometimes, especially I'm from Sweden, so in the spring, it's like you need to come out of that winter mode and then wake up your body. So the practices I'm going to suggest here that I'm going to do with you in a little bit is on the physical level, the emotional level, and the mental level. So there's three practices that I'm going to show you how you can do it. So the first one is a physical. It's action. It's breathing. And I have a. Does that explain it?
Yeah. Good.
I have a little slideshow here if I could do it and share that with you. Okay. If I can find my slideshare. It's hidden here. Oh, there it is. So on the physical level, we need to do some action. And so if you want to have a practice on the physical level, then you have to take some kind of action. And in this case, I'm going to do a breathing exercise with you. And then on the emotional level, which is what motivates us, and we're working with our emotions. If we are not motivated, we're not going to take action, right? And then the mental level in our mind, our thinking, we need some structure. I have a little practice for actually structuring the mental area so that we can stay less distracted. And of course, then there is spiritual level, which I'm not going to talk about today, but those practices are mostly about awareness and evolution or enlightenment or something like that. But the three first parts, I think it's really cool to do. Yeah?
I was muted. Yes, it's fine. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so okay, I'm going to go to the next slide here. Mm-hmm. It's on Hangout here. You have so many windows that one has to deal with. Okay, so the physical level is to actually learn how to breathe. So I'm going to come out here. And are we ready to do that right now?
Okay.
Okay.
I keep myself muted, okay?
Okay. So when you breathe, let's say normally we breathe in and out, and then nothing here is moving. Nothing in the chest is moving. We usually breathe just at the upper part of our body, right? It's like a shallow breath. And I mean, for those who are singing like Heidi, they practice this diaphragmatic breathing. So in this session here, I am going to do 4 kinds of breaths. First, the deep breathing, and then something I call the ha breath, and then 2 parts with which you working with your sides of your body, one up and down and one on to the sides. So do you want to do it with me now? So then we inhale deeply and fill our belly all the way down. So your bottom of your lungs is pushing out the belly. It's like just push out your belly. And then we exhale very, very, very slowly. You can do it on an S, let's say. And then at your leisure, inhaling very, very slowly. And being conscious of that the air is filling your whole body to the side and down and on the back and on the lower back here too. And then exhaling slowly. It's easier to do it slow when you have a sound, but you don't have to make a sound. And so one more time to see if you can feel the difference from breathing before. So we're breathing in again. And exhaling. So how does that feel? How does that feel to have just done that first part?
You know, you are right. I'm a singer, and I'm not really the right person to tell you how it feels, because it's so normal for me. It's no surprise, let's say. But we asked the watchers to write how it is for them to do this conscious in-breath and conscious out-breath, especially on the S, which is one of my big exercises also for the voice, you know. So
this is cool. I mean, most of the time, just doing one deep breathing exercises for 3 times, so breathing in and out 3 times, is your energy gets picked up dramatically. And so now I'm going to take it to the next step. And in the first deep breathing, we did slow inhale, slow exhale. So in the next breath, we're going to do in slow and out fast. It's like this. And it's like you expel your air like really, really, really fast. It's like you can also use your hands if you're standing up, and the yogic way is to just do bending forward and standing up. But here we can just do that again. So think about filling your air in. And and that you might be a little dizzy, but you could stop at any time because most of you are probably sitting down, right? And the ha breath is extremely good when you have so much on your mind, you're overwhelmed. And if you do the ha breath, you see that all of those things that goes on in your head, or what all those things around you is, you exhale that and you let go of it. You clear your mind. That's a really clearing breath. And if you're really upset, you can do this breath. It's like you exhale all your anger or frustration. And if you're sad, that is really great to do. You're inhaling, and then it's like a warrior who's standing up to you, right? So you can bring that as far as you want. And then we have the sideways breath. So we want to activate each side here, right? Left and right side. And then we do this. So it's fast up and then slowly down. You see that when we open these sides, most people have no idea about the sides here, right? Each side, because you know that you can breathe into your lungs on the sides here. It's very, very important to actually utilize your whole lungs. Then your physical level becomes really energized. And then, so did you get that? So fast up and slow down, fast up, slow down. Let's do that one more time. And then the activate. Can you feel the activation in each side? Heidi, have you done this sideways?
Yeah, I do it even very directly into the, you know, how is it called down here? This the breath and the we say fianchi in Italiano. How is it called?
Flanks.
The flanks, he says. So really open the flanks with this sort of breath also, you know, to be really open, the whole body open by the breath. So side is good. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the last one is both is fast. Inhale fast, exhale fast. So we put our hands not up top here, but more like this. You lower it right at your diaphragm, right? So the breath is like this. Inhale fast, hold. Exhale fast, hold. So it's becoming like this. And you might be a little dizzy, but you remove excess air and stale air inside of your breath. I get a little bit dizzy there, so so let's take a slow breath to actually equalize that. And exhale. So I'm going to go into the slide share again and to show you so that you can remember this this practice a little bit here. So the deep breath is slow breaths in and out. The ha breath, ha, slow in and fast out. And then the sideways, reach your arm up fast and then slow down on the exhale. And then hands to the side, it's fast in, holding your hands at the diaphragm, fast in, hold, and fast exhale, hold. And then you can repeat this sequence for maybe 3 times. Okay? Is there any questions on that?
No, it's fine for me. Good.
Okay, so then I'm going to go over to do the emotional level, and that is feeling. I'm going to get out here. And when you think of the emotional level, there is like, emotions are very, very sticky. These emotions that we have that are pleasant seem to go away very fast, whereas the emotions that are sticky, the negative emotions like being angry, being sad, being upset, whatever, it seems to be sticky and doesn't want to go away that easily. So when to advert or have a practice to reverse this and reverse it into a positive state of mind, we can use going back to thinking of an event in the past where you were so ecstatically happy. You know, can you think about an event in the past where you were just ecstatic, you were joyful, it was so great. So think about what that event would be.
You want me to tell you, or is it just a rhetoric question? No, I just remember a moment on top of a mountain. After a long time, we went up. So that was really great to see, you know, the landscape all around.
Yeah, so that was like going up and seeing the view and having done some work to get there, and you achieved it, you stood there on the top of the mountain. That's really great because the mountain is really a place that, okay, I'm going to remember that mountain. So if you have that symbol of the mountain, you climb it, you remember it, and then you can remember this and include this in your practice every morning, let's say, or every evening. Okay, that's what I'm going to remember. And after doing the breathing, you can remember this event and then visualize the feeling inside that you have when you were at that event. So then you can actually say, okay, the mountain experience, yeah, there it is. Oh yeah, now I'm centered. I can connect back with that lovely state. It could be anything from your life, you know. For me, it was like I felt so ecstatic standing, and that was in Iceland when I was there a year ago. I stood at a beach. It was water going in and out, and then the pools of water was just like soothing, almost hypnotizing. The water come in and out, and it was like that airy mist around it, where the black lava sounds smooth, no wind, just the small waves that sort of caress the beach. And I was staying there forever, and it's kind of cool. So that's what I remember, and I felt like, oh wow, there's space, there's joy in my body. It's like opening up the inner space is like crazy. So this is an event that I remember. If you don't have an event that you can think of, you can take an event from another person. Say, okay, I'm going to be there with Margherita in that beach, or I'm going to be with Heidi up on top of that mountain and feel that uplifted and see this beautiful view. And then when I do that, my energy rises up, my mood becomes better, and then what was I worried about before, you know? So if we practice this is very important to actually include that in our practice on a daily basis. It doesn't take more than 15 seconds. Okay, I remember that now, and then feel it. It's very helpful to do. So what do you think about that, Heidi?
It's can you hear me? Yeah, I'm not muted. It's absolutely great. I'm completely on your line with that. It's good.
Okay, so shall we go to the next level? And I have this share here again. So if you want to do this as a practice, so you inhale and exhale slowly one time just to center yourself, and then you go back to that ecstatic, joyful moment that you have experienced in the past, and then practice feeling it by breathing it in. Just take that energy in your body, and then you give it away on exhale. You let go of it, basically, and then you exhale it out. And then on the next breath, you bring it in again. So you could do that 3 times, breathing that in and taking it in, and then each time you do it, you increase the level of your the joyful moments, or even more ecstatic, joyful moments and feelings inside of your body, and then you basically let go of it.
Let go of the telephone. I can see that Candy is here watching, and welcome, Candy. Wonderful. And also Elaine left a message.
Great. Well, I haven't still figured out how I'm going to turn off my phone because it gives me reminders, and so it's good to have reminders. It's really, really good to have reminders. And I'm also telling you that this practice of giving away, it's also in spiritual practice where we give away something to other people and send it out. Any joyful feeling, we send it out, we're sharing with other people. And that also is going to bring us into a place where we can have more compassion for other people and release our attachment to being having a grudge with somebody or being upset with somebody or a situation. It actually alleviates that to some degree. And then we're going to go to the mental level, and that is focus. So if you have some object that, if you talk about your desk, right? Probably some of you have desks that are spotless. There is nothing on it. On my desk, on the other hand, looking at it now, is like a ton of things on it, and it can distract, right? So I use something like this to focus my mind. I use a crystal that you can look at the point on the wall, but the crystal is really great to look at. So when we do focusing exercise, it means that our eyes focuses on, let's say, the tip here. And when our eyes are focusing on something, also our thoughts are focused on that thing. And distractions are out here, but the focus is clear. So if you actually practice, look at a spot on the wall or on the tip of the crystal, let's say, you can also train your mind to be staying in focus as long as you want. And so when we focus on this point, let's say, so we should also breathe, right? So we can do it in this way. So I'm looking at the point. You can also look at this point here on my picture. And then I count my breath. So I inhaling and exhaling. And that was one breath, right? And I'm going to do it silently now. And really count breaths. And in our mind, we say that's a one breath. And looking at the point. And there's two breaths. You know what I mean? You count your own breaths. You're doing it in your own time. It's slow breaths. You don't have to extreme deep breathing, but like breath in and out, and you count it. And then if you lose track of your breath, you're counting, you don't know what number you were at, then you start over from one. And I dare you to do these breaths up to 21 breaths. It's very hard to do, but it's very good for training our structure in our mind. And when we decide to do something and then keep doing that and doing it in a steady way, because in our life there is always extremes. If you're watching a movie, there is extreme excitement and you know, adrenaline comes up, and then there's a low point and there's a high point. And so we want to really don't have that in our mind, because that takes a lot of energy and a lot of adrenaline that we really, really don't need. You know, we're being used to it while we are doing watching movies, let's say, or thrillers or something like that. Because I think that in the past, when there were no TV, when there were no media 100, 200 years ago, then people were in generally only in these stress modes when there was a war going on, let's say, and they were actively trying to protect the village or something like that. And then you have to have that level of engagement inside of your body. But if we're watching TV, why would we need to stress our body with all these hormones, stress hormones, when we really don't need it? So this practice helps us to keep the adrenaline level in check and actually control that with our mind.
So, Margherita, you would say why people are watching these shows to breathe and focus? I would say, personally, not to watch these things. To save some energy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really watch anything violent. I don't even have a TV because it's just so important to me to stay in a balanced state of mind that I can create. I can create much more being in that state of mind.
Yeah, I know that. Very seldom. Sometimes old mystery things from the 50s, but they are so, sort of silly. that they don't bring me up so much. But one of the reasons why I came to live in the country, because I wanted to go out of the stress, because I felt I couldn't, and here I learned to calm down. And now, fortunately, I've learned many of these techniques to deal with situations which are not so, let's say, life enhancing. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to show you the last slide here to actually repeat what I've said. So the focus exercise is like you gaze relaxed eyes steadily on a spot. You can use a crystal if you like, but don't tense your eyes. You can first close your eyes and open them, and then lower them so you're sort of halfway open eyes, and then breathe normally, and then count your breath until you reach 21. And if you get distracted, start over from 1. And so that's the 3 practices. And of course, if you want to connect with me, you can download this slide on our website, Hangouts on Connection, and get this actual file. So over to you, Heidi.
Okay, this was a good journey into how we can do the practices. But still, I want to ask you, what is it for? Can you be more specific? Because the last exercise seemed to me like a normal practice of spirituality, which I have encountered several times, and so on. So what is the specialty of your practice?
Well, it is, to focus, you structure your mind. I mean, it's a universal practice to have single focus. It exists in many different traditions, let's say. So I just adapted it into my system that we do on a healing journey, where there is several different practices that we can use for different level of how to train your mind. This is just the beginning one, so you could get introduced to actually learning how you distract your mind and stay more structured and clear. And especially if something you have lots of things going on in your life and in your mind, it's very, very beneficial to do these 3 practices that I just showed you. First the breathing for the physical level, then the visualization of the emotion, joyful emotion, and then a few breaths of doing the focused eye movement to actually still your mind. So if you do these 3 things together, you will see your increase in energy. You will see that you would be actually more happy, or can recover your happiness or your state of mind of being joyful much faster. And then with the mind practice of focusing, you could also get less distracted in your daily life. And this is just the beginning level that you can actually do in less than 5 minutes or something like that. You can, of course, do 10 minutes or half an hour of this, but it's just to actually ingrain a healthy habit on a daily basis. So that's why I prepared this PDF file that you can get on hangoutsonconnection.com. You can just download it and start using it. So that's my gift to you. And I'm really excited that I can share this right now. And
and you were naming the healing journey, and I know that it is a program of yours.
Yes, I created.
And maybe you talk a little.
Yeah, I created. It's a program that's a 3-month program where I take a person from A to Z on their healing journey. If they have some problem in their life, they don't know how to solve it, they need to heal it, and then it's like a multidiscipline approach with talking about several different levels at the same time. And we're working with the 4 levels: the physical level, the emotional level, the mental level, and the spiritual level. And then what we do is to actually transform ourselves on each of these levels, because if we just do one level, we're missing the other level. So it's like a more holistic approach to your personal practice. And we just had the premiere version gone through that just from last year, and it has been a very good journey for me too. So we're coming up with a new launch of it soon. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, let's connect.
Yeah, and people go to your website, thecrystallotus.com, aren't they?
Yeah. And do download that PDF file, because then I also can send you some updates about it, and that would be helpful if you're very interested.
Okay, so thank you, Margherita. So we have done a tete-a-tete into today, talking about very interesting and very useful practices. They seem simple, but actually they are not so simple, because keeping on counting to 21 and maybe do it 3 or 4 times, you will fall down immediately. I mean, I've tried that, and I'm still doing it sometimes, and I know at the end I came to 5 cycles. How do you say cycles? But you know, it took some time because the thoughts go everywhere. And it's really good to have a practice to focus the mind, because there's so many distractions now with the internet and the emails coming in, and there's messages coming in, there's telephones coming in. We are getting sort of scattered, and if we don't do it ourselves to clean our mind, as you called this session here, then we will get so panic, I guess. So thank you for sharing that with us.
My pleasure.
And talking about next week, probably we will have Robert Kaoka here, and Roland, not Robert, and talking about his healing journey. So stay tuned, and bye-bye. And thank you again, Margherita.
Thank you for listening.